Hey guys, Steve from Tony's here. Sick today, so I'm kind of hanging out back at the shop. Um, I'm recording this video. This is the top seat cover for the shop truck. It's all done except for a little bit of the channels for the metal for the hog rings, and I need to French stitch this seam and the seam on the other side. I'm not sure if I thought this out very well or if this is the way it'll work out, but I've got to French stitch both sides of this up around this curve. It would have been much easier to do it when these two are both flat, but then I would have had to add a welting and the end panel with all this bulk. So this is what I have. So you're along for the ride because it might be a disaster. Who knows? First thing I'm going to do is take it back to the table. I've got to, when I do my French stitches, I glue a piece of linen on the back, open these up and glue linen on there. So I've got to get that all prepped. And that's just smearing contact cement on there and then putting the strips, 1-inch strips of linen on, so that there's a bridge across there. So when I get that done, I'll be back and we'll get to it, and hopefully I won't fall asleep from the cold medication, but we'll get through her. Okay, here I've got my strips of linen glued to the back, so when I sew through, hopefully I'll hit that linen too, and that'll give this seam a little extra support. So, yikes. Let's see what happens here. Luckily it's just for the shop truck, so okay. We'll do the fabric side first. The fabric side I can always redo. Once you punch holes through the vinyl, it's kind of tough. So, okay, here we go. I did check my bobbin before this, just to make sure I've got enough, and it should be good. I hate to run out and have to tie in somewhere. I might be missing my flap under there. Fix that here. There we go. least now I'm coming over the top of the seat. So if it gets a little boogered up, it won't be awful. I won't be staring at it all the time. Looks like I lost my top string just at the very, very end. So that's, at least it was the top. But I made her through. It actually went fairly straight, which I was surprised. I've been having some issues with thread abrasion. It's been winding up around some of the eyes that I have to go through. Could be the welting foot. I've got my welting foot on still from obviously making welting. So I've been using that as kind of my universal foot. And it has more areas for it to rub together, so. But let's see here. I'll cut those off. I missed my flap a lot on here. It'll flatten out when it's on the pickup. So let's go for the vinyl side now, which will be the one that you can see. So it'll have to be a little bit better. This is a big old wreck here. Maybe I can do better with that. And then I will just, yeah. Oh. Got something. Probably some machine oil to clean that up. Oh well. Let's see. Not wild about sewing on this side of the seam, but that's what I got to do, I guess, to get it through the machine. It's interesting with a clutch machine, excuse me, clutch machine trying to go consistent, especially on an older clutch machine. we come to the fun part. One thing I'm not really good about is when you got to move it or try to reposition it or give it a tug, make sure your needle's sunk so it doesn't slide around like it has a couple times here. But my thread got chewed up again. Okay. Do some checking on that. I keep, like I said, my top thread keeps chewing up on me. Usually it's towards the end, so I don't know what. No, you don't need to watch me do that. Let's take a look at this. Okay, so there's my French seam going down between the vinyl here over the hump. So, as much as I was dreading it, it turned out. So I'm gonna go glue my linen on the other side and repeat on the other side. So you don't need to see that. You can see me struggling with this. I'll show you the end product and maybe video putting the cover on and hog rings and stuff, because I might as well get that done today. Hey guys, Steve from Tony's here. Excuse my cold, if I swell up or my nose starts running while we're talking, but I did a little video. This should be on attached to the video where I did the French seam on the top of the seat, and so I just kind of wanted to go through now that I've got it all together, show you what everything looks like. So there's the back of the seat all put together. This is that French seam that I was working on before. I had all these sides on, so it kind of made it interesting to get into the machine and around. This is my first seat with my new old machine. So it's passable. If it was for somebody, I wouldn't be happy at all. What I learned about this process is if I were to do this again, I would do the top and the bottom together. I would probably do this insert and this insert in one big run and then cut them apart so that I would end up with the same, because I measured these all the same, but of course I've got a 1/4 inch foam on the back of this, 2.5 inch spacing to get it to just like, it's about 1 inch and 7/8 in between each of these. Well, some grew a little bit, and if it grew here and grew here, then it would be the same and they would line up, even if they're not exactly the same. And hopefully over time I'll get better at getting all these right. And I did not pick the easiest stitch to do for my first project, because this is the hidden seam stitch. I don't know if you probably can't see it in the back anymore. Yeah, you can't see it, but just here's a little bit of behind the, I left this on. I've got some black burlap I could have put on there, but I like the fact that this seat was not chewed up. There were mice in the pickup, but they didn't attack the seat, so that was great. So this is all fresh painted, all the hardware is fresh painted. I put new strips in there. I painted all the metal rods that are in those sleeves, new hog rings obviously. So So it's all kind of refreshed. Let's see if I can get it tipped up here. Here you can see underneath, everything's nice and shiny under there. And I'm working on the slides right now. I've got them in the garage on some cardboard getting painted. So stuff I learned. I modified the original design. The original design, this line came over just about to the edge. It was a small strip. You can kind of see my super pencil or my space pencil mark here. Space pen. So I shrunk that down to make this a little bit smaller. I think it gives it a little better look. I made the middle was much smaller too, and I made that bigger, which would be kind of nice because I want to do the double cup holder deal through the front here. Let me just grab these over here, just as kind of an example. You know, so I'll have to build a little framework here to screw underneath. That'll have these cup holders up probably about there, and then come out into this area, out and around, and then I'll wrap that French seams around the edge, around the top, and get that all nice on there, just attached to the seat versus in the seat and all that. It's well, I'm a little bit loose on my top here, which I'm not thrilled about. I'm sure the other one kind of came in and the foam came in. I added foam to here, and I guess, you know, if I was really desperate, I could undo some of the, and I still may do that. If I undid some of the hog rings here, I could open this up enough to be able to get a little bit of extra foam in there. Just this side isn't as bad. This side's pretty good. This side, for some reason, you know, although it's straight, it's kind of got a little bit of openness there. Maybe once I use it for a while and sit on it, because this hasn't been sat on yet, it'll kind of straighten out a little bit. So, but the way it is now, depending on the weather, because it's cold and kind of snowy out right now, it may just live in here for a bit until I get ready to go, and so that'll give me some time to get my cup holders cut out and built, and I'll do a video and some Instagram on that. But yeah, here's what it is. It didn't line up like I wanted. I cut the middle. I started in the middle, and of course my middle's off to start with, and so that kind of threw everything off. But you can see that this panel ended up much wider than the bottom panel did, because I'm hanging over this way here and hanging over that way there, which the factory one was kind of that way. I must have taken some marks off of that line. This is this way and that's this way. So if I could have gotten the whole thing over, this would have lined up, these two would have lined up, and this would have been way off. So, and I had marked it, but I didn't know exactly where this framework brings these way out, and I didn't account for that. I assumed that this edge here was going to be in line with that versus kicked way out to the side like that. So, but it feels comfy. I can't wait to get it in the pickup. It'll be better than sliding across that torn up, rock hard vinyl. So yeah, if you have any comments or questions or tips, give me a shout. Otherwise, I'm going to cut this video and get it uploaded to the interwebs. So you guys, Friday for me. You guys have a great weekend. And if you're anywhere cold, stay warm.